up, everybody? Let's talk about the weirdest word I've ever heard, frailing. Or as I might like to call it, yielding. I think that's just a little bit more accurate as far as like how this chapter represents. And this chapter is so good. I was going to make a video on this last night, but I listened to the chapter, and then I listened to it again, and then I listened to it again this morning because there's so much value that can be taken from it. It's such an important and critical idea as far as how we interact with the world and how we use what the author calls outer intention. Other methods might call this divine will or something a little bit more holy sounding, but I like the fact that Vadim really tries to keep the vernacular, or at least the translation of it, a little bit more practical, a little bit more sort of scientific-ish, if that's a word. I think it is now, but maybe a few years ago it wasn't. But frailing or yielding. The idea is that every single one of us, we want to feel valuable. We want to feel like we have some sense of self-worth, that we're contributing to the whole of society in some way. And if we as individuals can appeal to that and basically show people that they do matter, that they do have value, that they do contribute something to society, then they'll be more inclined to help us, right? In fact, when we ask someone to help us, that's proving to them that, hey, you know what? Like, I can't do it all by myself. I don't have all the answers. I need help. And as soon as I say to you, I need help, then you say, oh, you're recognizing that I can help you. And so that might make you a little bit more inclined to maybe help me, to lend a hand. Another thing that the author says in the book is that you can kind of get people excited about their self-worth, and you see this, like Tony Robbins might do this, or some other business people in multi-level marketing talk about, we got to do all this stuff, we got big goals to make, and we're going to, sell all this stuff, and blah, blah, blah. People get excited. They're like, well, I know I can do my part, and so their self-worth gets basically ignited by that, or the idea or the sense that they have some of that self-worth gets ignited by that acknowledgement, and then they go out there and they do this thing. A lot of times it's hustle, 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 right? In that particular instance. But the way that this idea really works is it's really about, it's kind of the golden rule, right? Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. And you're trying to get your own needs met, but not in some like weird manipulative way where you're taking advantage of someone. You just need to keep in mind what people want, what they're personally looking for, and it is self-worth, a sense of self-worth. And outer intention, some of y'all are probably going to hate me for this, but I don't care, works like an invisible hand. And when we think about business, when we think about marketing and these types of things, that's really the way to kind of approach it. What does the world need? What do other people need that also I can provide? That's a win-win-win situation. And it's not a new idea. It's something that's been around for a very, very long time. He also talks about finding a partner a little bit in this chapter, which I've had a couple people commenting and asking about that. I'm not a relationship expert, okay? If you could look behind me, you would see how many relationships I've personally torn apart. And, I take responsibility for every single one of them because it was my fault, at some certain level. But one of the things that he says is that when you're thinking about a partner, or when a partner comes into your life, you don't want to blow them away with how cool and awesome you are, because they're thinking about how they're going to look standing next to you. And if you show them their self-worth and build them up and encourage them and tell them how amazing they are, then they'll feel worthy of standing next to you, which is an interesting nuance, and I think it's really lovely. That is really important to acknowledge and appreciate the people in our lives, whether that be a romantic partner, a friend, business partner, all those types of things. That's kind of what they're judging. They're like, is this guy or girl going to overshadow me? Are they going to, make me look less than? When I am working with people, I really honestly want to work with people who are more talented than I am. And I think that should be a smart practice for people to take up. If you're a comedian, for instance, you don't want to be the funniest person in the room, when you're going through creative ideas for a sketch or a pilot or whatever. You want people who are smarter and funnier than you around you to pitch ideas. And that puts you actually in a higher level. And so if you can show those people around you how important and worthy they are to be with you, then they're more inclined to want to help you, to make you look better. And it's win-win-win all around, which is really what it's all about. You know, we want to make sure that we're giving everything that we can to the people around us. And, you know, it's funny because I think about this sometimes like, well, I just want to help people. Well, sometimes people don't need help, you know, and it could be insulting even, right? To be like, well, I want to help you. Like, I don't need help. But it's like, I need help too. You know, I need lots of help. Everybody does. Nobody is different in that. Like, we are not an island, none of us. And so understanding that the key to really, you know, getting someone to do something for you, right? Like, you can always put yourself in a position of authority and, you know, try and coerce someone to do something for you, but they're always going to resent you. And another aspect of this that's very important, and I'm glad I just remembered it, just floated into my head, is talking about arguments. Arguments. We argue a lot in society, especially when we're pitted against each other, when we're gaslit, when there's like really, I would say, controversial ideas being weaponized around us. And a lot of times we're arguing, and what happens when you argue with somebody? Truly, what happens? You offend them. And it doesn't matter. If you win an argument with someone, you might be right. And so what? What have you done? If you're right, now you basically slapped this person across the face in their self-worth, and you have insulted them and belittled them, and often in front of an audience. And so what does that make you? Does that make anyone willing to come to your aid, to help you, to serve your inner intention? Because basically the idea is that you have something that you want and everyone else has something that they want, right? And so what we want to do is we want to appeal to what they want. If we say, hey, you know what, I know this person, you know, they want something, how can I appeal to that? One of the tricks that he talks about in the book is to visualize a person. Let's say it's your boss. And I think that's the example that he uses, having like a great day, doing something that they like, they love to do. And what this does, and I didn't really pick this up maybe the first time I read the book, but over time, this is making more and more sense, and it's something that I'm probably going to listen to this chapter a couple more times because it's so powerful. But what that does is it puts a subconscious, like, sort of signal out there to, let's say, your boss, that you want what's best for them. And it's sincerity, okay? It's got to be sincere. When you try and manipulate someone, they can smell it from a mile away. Desperation is a stinky cologne. But when you visualize something, it's just the same as when we visualize something for ourselves in slides. The feeling is the secret. We impress upon our subconscious mind to create a feeling, and that is how we communicate with the universe emotionally. So when we are communicating with other people too, we acknowledge their inner intention. We know what they like and what they want to see more of in their reality. When we wish that for them, we create a feeling. In essence, they pick up on that. They're slightly more endeared to us as a result. So that's a great little trick or a technique, if you will. But it's really just a great way to go through life. And that's what it's all about, is improving our lives and the lives of others at the same time, and deserving the reality that we're going to step into. So I hope you all have gotten a little bit out of this. It's a great chapter. Highly recommend listening to it. Frailing or yielding, that's what it's all about. Listen to it, read it, practice it. It's awesome. Thanks. See y'all next time.